Today, let us look on 10 most dermatological disease, and those will help us covering all of other differentials. For example, here there is one of mnemonic is called the 10 slips. What can we say about these letters? We can say T is for tinea. Tinea, it contains a lot of tinea. What means when you say tinea, it means a fungal infection. But when you say some other names in front of tinea, it means a location where that fungal infection is located. For example, when we talk about Tinea corporis, we means corporis, it means a body surface. So when a tinea happens on a body surface, it means Tinea corporis. But when it happens in a groin area, we change the name to cruris. Then scalp, we change the name for capitis. And then is like that. And there are a lot of parts in the body with the different types of tinea. So for the tinea, when you cover this part, it means you have covered and their differential diagnosis, and you should know the difference between tinea and other differential diagnoses. Another part is and this tinea, remember, when you want to know more about other differentials, for example, when you look on other pages that similar to the tinea, maybe corporis or tinea capitis, then look for the other tinea, for example, tinea of the nail, then looks for the differential. Here you will see, for example, there is leprosy for that corporis. Then you study leprosy in deep. After that, you are going to see how much capitis has other differential. For example, there are other differentials in capitis that are more scarring than this. So just differentiate those scarring and this which are not scarring. Alopecia. So in that way, T will help you discover a lot of things. Another thing is the eczema. Let us see, there are different types of eczema, and other names we call dermatitis, though it has a different acute and chronicity manifestation. For example, when say dermatitis means inflammation of the skin, and it will present as inflammation present. Maybe it will present with erythema or other parts of vesicles and weeping and other. But when it becomes chronic, it becomes an eczema. So when we talk about eczema, we doesn't mean dermatitis of all types of inflammation of the skin. But here, there are specific eczema that we talk about. For example, there are atopic dermatitis. This is very, we call it atopic dermatitis. We call it broad and common topic in dermatology, because many people comes with atopic dermatitis, but it has no specific measure to know this is atopic dermatitis. So dermatologist knows this through criteria, and these criteria make the dermatology a specialist. So you should know how to differentiate atopic dermatitis with other eczema with diathesis. For example, here we have essential dermatitis or essential eczema. For example, those hand eczema, they are essential eczema because they forms because of presence of some other environment, though atopic dermatitis comes and the environments will trigger the condition. And another forms, for example, we talk about nummular eczema. It's the same as stotic eczema or hand and feet eczema that are depending on some forms of environment. And also for this other essential dermatitis, we can look a lot on phototoxic. We can look on on those part of contact, irritant dermatitis, but those two has a special two parts, like photoallergic for the phototoxic, and remember the difference between them. But also there are allergic contact dermatitis versus irritant contact dermatitis, and it has a differences. So you remember those differences, then eczema will be already covered. Another part is N, that stands for neoplasia. Here for the N, we have a lot of neoplasia in dermatology. For example, in dermatology, we have those which it has a different causes, but for example, we have a squamous cell carcinoma and the basal cell carcinoma. So what's the difference? And then we have a melanoma. What's the difference? So these three are coming together, but then we have other parts of neoplasia, like Papulosqamous. It has differences on those because this coming from lymphatic vessels. So for those which are more common, you should cover. Then you should have their differential diagnosis. Then you go for other parts of the body, like genital area. We have those are coming from HPV, and then you land on a Bowen disease and other parts of neoplasia. Then we go to the S. You know, dermatology stands for here to show us how medicals cover the dermatology, or how dermatology cover the medical. So you should relate with the other parts of medical or STI dermatology. So that's why we learn dermatology with the venerology, because it comes together. For example, here we have a secondary syphilis. You know, secondary syphilis is manifested as a dermatitis, you know, and it manifests as a Papulosqamous disorder. So you should know how to differentiate them. You should know the good history of syphilis and how to help this patient, because sometimes syphilis will present as a Papulosqamous disorder, psoriasis or other parts or other things. So you should know how to differentiate them. And another thing is the LI. This stands for Lichen planus. So Lichen planus is a broad, you know, lichen, nitidus, straitus, and other parts of lichen planus. You should cover all of them. And this part, remember, when you study lichen planus, you should go deep, you know, because lichen planus will tell you a lot of other Papulosqamous disorders that are coming from them, and it will help you discover other parts of lichenoid drug or other parts of lichen straitus on the genital area, and other, maybe we can say, variants. For example, lichen planus is like a tinea. When it happens on the mouth, then it's going to be oral lichen planus. And this mucosal lichen planus can be even happen on the vulva or other parts of the body which has a mucous membrane. Then it becomes a name according to that area. But when it happens to the skin as it presents in 6 P's, then we call it a classic. And then when it happens on the skins, maybe shins of the feet, then it become a hypertrophic, then we call hypertrophic. Then these are going like that, and there are different variants. You should learn those. Then these 6 P's are applying in different area, and then there are some other complications. It depends on the area. For example, for the mucosal, those on the oral area, weekend striae can happen anywhere. Then you should know those combinant phenomena and the other things that cover in lichen planus. And but you should know the variants of oral. For example, oral variants, here we have an ulcerative one. This ulcerative one, for complication part, it can lead to squamous cell carcinoma, for example. So this shows how much we should know Lichen planus. It just was discover how much Lichen planus is going far and telling us what. Another things we should know is a P. The P is a psoriasis, and this P covers pityriasis rosea. It covers pityriasis rubra pilaris and a parapsoriasis. What are they? When you cover them, when you show how much you know about this Papulosqamous disease, that's psoriasis, pityriasis rosea, pityriasis rubra pilaris, and the last one, parapsoriasis. Then you have covered all of the Papulosqamous disorder, because Lichen planus and P, for those other four, have discovered how much Papulosqamous has been covered. You should remember all of these are Papulosqamous, but they have a different presentation. And the first thing, why are called Papulosqamous, you should know the meaning, because when you study, you should know your heading. Then you go to discover how your headings are differ in a different presentation and different causes of the body. Then the last letter is S. This stands for what? Who can guess this? For me, I can say it stands for scabies. You know why? Because scabies is mostly prevalent in the dermatology. Doesn't depend if you are poor or you are rich. Scabies are coming from anyone who contact with anyone. So, scabies. We are going to work, we are going to school, we are going to everywhere. Then we contact with the people, and scabies are coming. And sometimes we interact with our relationship. Then those we are sex with or with contact in any way, our maybe spouse or a wife or anyone, then has a scabies, we get scabies. So scabies is very important to differentiate. And the differential diagnosis of scabies gives you a lot. Even sometimes for the scabies in children, you should know the presentation. Scabies in adult, you should know the presentation. Then you should know other things. For example, genital scabies, you should know about molluscum contagiosum and other things. Those are molluscum contagiosum are very infectious. When you contact, there is a history of contact, then molluscum contagiosum has come. So you should know those. And this will give you more broad knowledge on how infectious diseases are coming from. For example, in HIV differ apart from other people who are more immune. So presentation of scabies, presentation of molluscum contagiosum, this differ according to immunity schedules. So why I didn't put here molluscum contagiosum, why I didn't put a lot of other things are very important, but you will see them inside the differential diagnosis. And don't think those differential diagnoses are not a part of your study. So thank you for this 14 minutes, and I wish you all the best. Study smart.